Good morning, sunshine.
I don't know if I'm feeling like sunshine today, but I'm here. I'm definitely here. Now, first of all, to just begin, y'all have just fallen into getting to after the podcast where we're all about helping women, especially in midlife, to get over those mental obstacles, to get over those self talk obstacles, to get to the place where they're feeling their full selves. And I'm doing it with my beautiful co host.
I'm Morgan Bustos. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Getting to After. We're so
All right.
excited to have you here today, baby.
So you know what's so funny? I'm sure Morrison on Princess Pops. You'll find out later. Okay, here's the deal. First of all, we were trying to start this pod, and Morgan was having to rally her son's dog. Okay, what's the dog's name?
Anika.
Anika. Okay, so Anika,
Anika.
pronounce it correctly. Okay,
Mhm.
Anika. All right, is running through the house, does not want to leave Morgan's room, and I think it's so interesting because Anika lives with her son somewhere across town, but is literally coming over to play with who?
Zion.
Zion. Even dogs know when it's time to take spring break. I'm just saying, like the
It's
dog
playtime.
understood the assignment, but somehow we missed it. Somehow we missed it. Understand that. So we thought today we would talk about how spring break is not just for the kids. Like it ain't just for the kids. And we need to be able to take more than just a breath. Now, we will always do grounding here. We will always talk to you about how you can center yourself and get more out of your day. But today we're going to talk about what does it look like to actually take a break?
Mm,
Because more than just a breath is needed. Y'all
mm,
ready?
mm,
Y'all
mm.
ready for this?
Da-na-na, bum, bum, bum.
Let's get started. So, welcome back. I'm here with my incredible co host, and we're here to talk about something that I think every single woman, especially in midlife, definitely needs to hear, and that's that you need a break, not just a breath. Now, we are totally advocates about giving you a little 5 minutes before a meeting or 5 minutes in your car. We've talked about that. And at least that's the bare minimum of what you need to be doing.
Mm,
But we're talking about a full, unapologetic break. We're talking about not feeling guilt,
mm.
because if not, you won't ever do it. And so this episode's for you if you're like, I don't think I can do that. What do you think, Morgan?
Well, I already know what everybody's thinking because I know what I was thinking. Like, I don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. But the thing is you can't
Yeah, you do. You better make it.
right? But today, we are going to help everybody reframe their thinking around that. And we're also going to share some really, really cute stories and some strategies and even some challenges on at the end. Maybe you'll even book a hotel room for yourself. You never know. You never know. Before this episode is over, you'll be just feisty.
And ready to go. Here's the thing. As women, we've absolutely been conditioned to just push through. We put everyone else first. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But when we're doing that, if we're pushing through the exhaustion, look, I'm going to raise my hand. Raise both hands if that's ever been you. I mean, we know how we get all the hands. And I would put my feet up, but my feet, the shoe, never mind. I don't, I don't have the shoes on that I would want you to see. But we ignore our own needs because there's always something else to do. Morgan, you always talk about this, especially being a single mom. But whether you're a single mom, whether you're a mom whether you're a single woman, we always have things that we're doing because we are caretakers, just naturally, and we have the energy to do it. Except when we ignore our own needs, what ends up hurting is us. We end up not getting our needs met a lot of times, and we need to take an actual break. I'm thinking that a topic like this, especially when it's just about spring break, most places here in Maryland, actually, has it already hit by you? Have the kids already gone off for spring break?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So here we haven't had spring break yet. It's this week and next week, and the next 3 weeks, all over Maryland. A lot of college kids are coming in, or they've already left. And the thing about the end of March about it being spring break is what happens is there is a lot going on. The weather's getting a teeny bit warmer, things are changing, people are a little bit happier, but women are still like this. So we don't want that. We're going to squeeze in a little centering and grounding right now. I'm going to lead. We're going to get something special for you that I prepared. And if you hear my voice and you're able to just kind of follow along with us, I would love if you would do that, because the whole point about centering and grounding is to kind of clear your head into a space where you're able to receive information. It's able to kind of shut out the stuff that's kind of bothering you and nagging you and get you in a position to be like, to just receive. And that's what we're here for today. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Okay. You ready, Morgan?
Yes.
All right. So one of the things that I've learned from Morgan is if you can, take your shoes off and put your feet firmly on the floor. That's not something I always say, but let's go ahead and do that. I think it is really nice if you're able to just wiggle your toes a little bit, get yourself firmly in your chair, or if you decide to even stand up, if that's comfortable for you, just start settling into stillness. So wherever you are, allow yourself to pause. You don't have to fix anything right now. You don't have to clear your mind. You just be. If it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes. And if not, just soften your gaze and maybe let it land on one point very gently. Again, no effort, no pressure. This is really about time for you. And it's just going to be a few moments, but it'll give you an inkling of what it feels like to let go. Now let's take a slow and steady breath in through your nose. Hold it for a few beats and let it go slowly through your mouth. Let's do that again. Slow and steady breath in through your nose. Hold it. And then slowly out through your mouth. And if you want, you can make an audible sigh. The goal is to inhale calm. Let's do it one more time. And exhale tension. Now, if you would, gently rub your hands together. Doesn't have to be super fast. And again, if you're listening to my voice and say you're on your morning commute or on a train, just pretend your hands are cold. They don't have to know everything you're doing. Just rub your hands gently together. Feel the warmth begin to build. And now, once they're warm, go ahead and rest them over your heart or your belly. Just allow yourself to relax. Now, bring your awareness to your shoulders. I invite you to allow them to just soften and drop. So many times they're up here. Just let them go. And if you're not sure how to do that, you can bring them up, back, around, and down. And you'll feel the tingling going through your body as you're letting that go. Now also notice what's going on with your jaw. Is it tense? Is it tight? Are you clenching? Relax that. You can open it wide and let that go. And then your neck as well. Is it tight? Give yourself permission to release that. Maybe even gently roll your shoulders, your neck, all the way around. And then do it the other way, all the way around, slowly and with care. We're not in a race right now. This is time for you. Now become aware of your seat, especially if you're seated. Feel the chair beneath you. Feel the chair supporting your bottom. Feel your body kind of settling into this moment. No judgment, no judgment. Notice the temperature of your breath. As you take a breath in, it may enter cool, and then as you hold it and let it go, when you let it go again, it's warm as it leaves. Now bring your attention to your belly. Again, make sure your belly is soft. Exhale and just love on yourself for a moment in that area, an area that so often is an area of grief for us. Now let your back relax. Let your mind know this is a short little break and I'm safe here. I want you to open your heart to possibility. If you could take a break anywhere in the world, or even just in your own backyard, where would you go? What would you do? And how would you feel while doing it? Would you hear silence? Is it just you? Would you hear laughter because you're with someone from your community? Do you hear ocean waves? Do you hear birds high in the sky? Are you with someone you love? Or is it someone you love just you? And if it's just you, that's good enough. Mm-hmm. Now let this kind of visualization come gently to you. It's not a fantasy. It's not a meditation. It's an opportunity to just visualize what could be if you allowed yourself the time to take a break. This is a reminder that rest and joy are still available to you, not just someday, but today. Let's just take one more deep breath in. Let the air nourish you, and then release as you exhale any self-judgment, any of your to-do lists, any pressure, just let them go for a few moments. You're here with us right now, and this moment is yours. When you feel comfortable, if your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them, and we're going to go ahead and jump into this topic. How'd that feel, Morgan?
Oh, I was literally seeing myself on a mountaintop overlooking a prairie with a river going through it. The birds were it was beautiful.
I'm sorry, what did the bird say? Oh, okay. I just want to make sure I want to make sure I got. You know, Morgan, you're so silly. You know, the thing is that women over 40 struggle to take breaks. I mean, women in their 20s, every time you say ready to go pack up, they got a backpack and they go, or they have a bandana on a stick. They're ready to go. Like they're ready to go. And something happens. We take on a lot of responsibilities or things we have to take care of, and suddenly it goes away.
Oh,
It's more than just being busy, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely more than being busy. It just seems like, especially women in midlife, we have been taught to like put others before ourselves, and then it can also be like a cultural thing too. And it really, really is a struggle for a lot of people. I saw a study done by the for Creative Leadership, and it said that women who are way more likely than men to experience time stress. So kind of that meant that I want to make sure I said this right. So it said it constantly feeling like there isn't enough time for all of their responsibilities. And you know what's funny, Chatone? Like self-care is usually the first thing to go, right? And so it's just not seen as being important.
Yeah. But it's a learned behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It's a learned behavior. I think about, especially in my community, and I know you're of mixed heritage, so you have your foot in many of the different, communities and environments in your family history. I know in my family history, I watched my mom, my grandmother, my aunts, every female working really hard. Many of them did days work, which meant cleaning homes, taking care of other people's children, cooking for them, all that stuff. And so it became almost an unspoken rule that rest is earned. So if it happened at all, it was like Sunday afternoon, late after they'd done all the cooking, then maybe they were able to spend a little bit of time. It's really a lie, because you can't earn something that we all need. And I always go all the way back, not to be religious or anything, but God rested. Isn't that deep? I mean, he didn't need rest. But he knew when it was like good enough. This is good. And he rested. And so we suffer sometimes by not doing that. Now, my mom, a little bit different. She did push herself, but she suffered from multiple illnesses, many that I have as well. And because she couldn't do all the things all the time, because she would run out of energy and out of steam, I remember her feeling that guilt. And she didn't tell us that, but you can pick it up as a kid, like, mommy's not as happy as she should be. And saying no to us sometimes, I know, hurt her. And yet here I am all these years later with similar issues, similar sicknesses, similar even the ones you have. And sometimes the answer just has to be no. And if it's no, as we've talked many times before, that is okay. It can be a full sentence, but it's not a good sentence. It can be a full sentence, but it's not a good sentence if it's followed by guilt. Dealing with a lot of multiple illnesses, which I know that you have as well. I don't even know how you do it. I do not know. But for the benefit of our audience, I know that you took a trip recently that was like a true spring break. It's a little early, but it was a true spring break. And I was crazy impressed because you were able to do that with your teenagers at home. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about that?
Dude, I was totally stoked because back in August, all of the aunties, so there's like 5 of us, right? My group, remember our clan that I told you that we have, we had arranged one of us had arranged to make a trip way ahead of time. So it was February, in February. So it gave us plenty of time to like pre-plan and to like budget accordingly and to make sure that like we were able to financially afford it and then mentally afford it too. Right.
So August, October, November, December. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yep.
Right. So because things are tight, we have to be on a budget. I'm a single mom. And then having teenagers, you also have to pre-plan accordingly to make sure that they're taken care of mentally and emotionally and like they got food to eat and all that jazz and they're good. Right. But one of the things I appreciated it is we actually left for about 5 days. And so we went out of town. We went down to Georgia and we just hung out
with no kids.
With no kids. Let me tell you what.
I know that's right.
But no, check this out, dude. So the best part about it was for me, I love to drive. I've talked story
Yeah.
about that a lot. And I love driving. I love being on the road. I love being able to listen to my music
It's amazing.
and just go, right? So for me, that was like the precursor for the trip was just even driving down there and enjoying that. So taking the time, I think it took me like 5 hours to get there, something like that.
But that's a beautiful break right there.
That alone, the drive
Wow.
alone. So I was able to do my own thing. So like for a minute, I listened to music and then I listened to some like downloaded podcasts and then I listened to some of my training and then some more of my schooling and then my spiritual routine. And like, it was like a plethora
Wow.
of stuff, but I drove at night. And as you know, I love driving at night. Did you guys see that? Did you see the look she
Do
just
you
gave me?
understand? She's driving at night. Okay. She's a single mom and I don't live close. And yes, I do mother her. And I'm just like up watching her car, that little circle go across the highway. And if y'all think I'm lying, I'm literally in the bed like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
where is she? I'm like, Sugar, here's where she is. He's like, man, I'm sleep, wife. What do you want? And I'm like, look, she's okay. So go ahead, Morgan.
To the extent where she'll text me and be like, you've been at the gas station a little too long. You all right? Or she'll call me. I was in the middle of going to the bathroom. I'm like, yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry.
She's like, you all right?
Crazy. You're in the mountains of Georgia somewhere. Talking about you in a bathroom at a rest stop. Your car has been there too long. So clearly, while she's resting and getting her spring break, I'm at home knuckled like this around my phone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was
I wish
enjoying
we were
myself.
kidding, but we're so not.
That's the best part. But like just being able, so it made me feel good to know that you love me enough to want to make sure I'm okay, right? So then that gave me the ability to be more free because I know you got my six. So I'm just like la 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 la, like dancing, frolicking throughout through Georgia, right? So anyway, so I'm driving at night because I appreciate that because it's calmer. It's still like I can really enjoy the ride and the drive because I'm not having to worry about all these
Yeah.
cars passing by and stupid drivers and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I enjoyed. And then let me tell you what, when I got there, when I say like high up on the mountaintop, like high up on the mountain, I pull into the bottom of the drive and I look up and I'm going to have to like send the picture so they can see this picture, right? It's beautiful. There was this beautiful tree up on the left side. And I mean, it was massive. And then the house was lit up with the lights, like the fairy lights along the outside. And I'm looking at it and I stopped and I had to take pictures because in that moment in time, I was so grateful. I was so grateful that all the aunties wanted to, number one, invite me, right? But then also to be willing to step aside from myself and my own desire to constantly take care of everybody and everything and realize I needed to take a minute for myself. Because I kid you not, I sat at that bottom of that driveway and just stared for like a good 2-3 minutes, just looking at it in awe because it was so peaceful.
Okay, wait, Morgan, let's put a picture up. Let's let them see what this looks like.
Okay.
Okay, Morgan, yeah, that's beautiful.
Oh, did you see that? Do you see what I'm talking about? All the lights and how the tree was like perfectly framing the house. It was gorgeous. And cameras can't do it justice like our eyes do.
Yeah.
Right? But so then I'm just looking at it and it was so peaceful, so peaceful. So then I go to the back and go up around and I finally get to the top and I'm looking out at everything. And even though it's pitch black, all I see are stars.
Oh,
Beautiful. It's like jet black out there. You see across from me, I'm looking out the outline of the mountain in the night and the silhouette, and you can kind of see some of the trees a little bit. And then the moon is just glistening onto the rest of the scenery. And so it's like sprinkling, like it looks like sparkles all over the place. Like just this, it was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So anyways, so that's the night. That's the night. I wake up the next morning, they make breakfast. I'm like, I didn't even, they're calling me. They're like, no, not yet. And then finally one of the other aunties came downstairs. She's like, girl, you getting up? I said, oh yeah. Okay. She's like, there's food upstairs. I said, wait a second, what? She goes, yeah, can't you smell that? I walk upstairs. There's bacon, there's eggs, there's pancakes, there's and when I say eggs, I meant like auntie made omelets. She made fluffy, delicious omelets. And then
And I know y'all look, I know y'all had to save for that because when you started this trip, eggs were not the price that they are right now. No one's getting an omelet in my house. I'm just saying.
so I'm looking at that. There's
Wow.
orange juice, and so the kitchen's over here. Over here is the table. Out there is the deck. Now on the deck, you're looking out through the deck, and that's where the silhouette of the mountains were the night.
Okay, okay.
Now I'm seeing it in the daytime, and I'm looking out, and I was just like in awe, in absolute awe. And I'm seeing like the ravine. I'm seeing like all the other houses, like they're spread out pretty good, right? And there's the deck, there's the barbecue, there's the patio set, there's the hot tub over here, there's a fire pit back there, you know.
Wow.
The reason why I'm telling you guys about this is because I realized how grateful I was that I took a second to say yes. Like, and because in the back of my mind, I was like, how am I going to pay for this? How am I going to schedule time? How am I going to take off work? How am I going to leave the kids? Who's going to watch the dogs? Who's going to watch the kids? Like all these things. But when I prayed about it and I just had a conversation and said, hey, is it okay if this person comes and hangs out here? Is it okay if this kid hangs out here? They're like, yeah, absolutely. So just scheduling, pre-planning made it so that I could have a moment, not a moment, girl, I was gone for a hot second. That those couple of days, like I was just in pure bliss. In pure bliss. I'm gonna ask, actually, I have another picture that we'll drop here of me hugging a tree. Ain't gonna lie, I hugged that tree. It was big, it was beautiful, and I was like, oh, I'm so happy.
All right, let me throw it up there. Let me throw it up. Okay, Morgan, you gave a new meaning to the word tree hugger.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I looked cute. That was the best part. I had on my rocking boots. I was like, so it's okay to ground. It's okay to take a second for yourself, you know. And when you do that, it does so much for you. So, you know, I mean, when was the last time y'all planned a break just for you and yourself without like a vacation for you, not your family where you're having to pack for them, clean for them, prep for them, all of that. But I just mean like really an intentional break for yourself where you just focus on nothing but you.
It's rare. It's rare. You know, and I think that I'm seeing some groups out on TikTok actually, and if I can, maybe 2 women that I follow that are not so much influencers like travel agents, but specifically for moms and for women only. And I only want to say moms because when we think of moms, we think of children, women, okay, women of a certain age. That's all she does is plan these trips, and they're amazing trips. Last year they went to Puerto Rico, they went to Cuba, they went. They're planning something in Asia. They're doing, and they're women of color, so it's just very dynamic to see women doing that. And it's just this new idea that you don't just have to go on vacation with your family. And again, as a married woman, it's not like I'm trying to like leave Marky. Like I'm not trying to leave the bro. But for me, what ends up happening is that because I do spend quite a lot of time in Florida because, you know, my family's there and I check on my mom, that's like a little break that I get because I get the bed to myself. I get to eat when I want. I cook the food that I want. And I don't have to be beholden to other people's schedules but my own. But I'll be honest, I've always been the queen of pushing through. You know, I mean, you know, I work
like a lot.
And I like work. But it was really years and years of barely even taking a good vacation as a family, more than just like we would always, as I mentioned, I think a couple weeks ago, we would always go to Barbados before we kind of discovered Dominican Republic. The kids were really little. Like, I mean, we started going to Barbados when Caitlin was just a solo before her brother came. But the truth is, it was a week or maybe 10 days. And we did that once a year. And the rest of the time, we would only just go to Florida. And Florida, again, it's a break, but with the whole family, it's just a bunch of kids and going to the beach with lots of pails and buckets and whatever. It wasn't the kind of break that a woman needs. And the whole point of us talking today about spring break not being just for kids, it doesn't have to be during spring. That's not the point. The point is that it needs to be at a time that you can get it together so that you can really nurture yourself. And for me, I needed breaks, but I couldn't see how to take them. I just couldn't. You know, my health was messed up. I had lots of surgeries, difficult pregnancies, and I was just trying to juggle. Just juggle. And I think it wasn't until probably 2012 that I hit an actual wall.
Mm.
And, I can say it almost flippantly now, I hit a wall, but I actually hit the wall.
Mm.
And I had to leave my job. I had to just say, this is not for business. This is not for, you know, um, just for edification, this or education, or this is not to learn something, although I did go to a workshop. But that first solo trip was just a few days. But I went to, of all things, North Carolina, and I just booked a plane. I went by myself. Hubby was like, really? And I was like, mm-hmm, got to do it. I decided actually against staying in a hotel. I found a childhood girlfriend who I hadn't seen in years and years, and I knew she lived down in Charlotte. And I was like, girlfriend, can I come stay with you for a couple of days? She's like, of course. She's like, I'm working. I'm like, good. You know what I'm saying? She's like, here's the keys to my car. And she let me do whatever I needed to do. And it was just a few days. But let me tell you something. It was a revelation to me. I realized right then, rest is not luxury, it's a necessity. And for some reason, we kind of forget that. You have to, we're always going to tell you to make sure that you raise your deserve level, because getting to after is about that. The world's kind of pushing it down. We've got to raise the deserve level up so that we get to a point where we're like, okay, I can take a rest. That
Yeah.
means a full night's sleep. That's not the rest we're talking about. We're talking about these kind of things, going and hugging a tree, looking at the bottom of a mountain, or booking a flight and going someplace. And for me at that time, I needed a lot of internal strength because I was going through so much with my health, and I was trying to figure things out after leaving my big job. And that particular trip spearheaded, oh, I'm worthy of taking this time for myself.
Ooh, I like that, being worthy of it. Because a lot of times we don't feel like we're worthy of it. I know for me personally, it was a little like my moment came differently for me, right? So like I was the person, as you know, I was the yes person. I said yes to everything to the point where it was so overwhelming, and I was doing so much for everybody else that like nobody was ever happy because I spread myself so thin. So then there was that guilt that came in with that, right? And then also because I was constantly making sure that everybody else was okay being in that state of crisis, like I didn't have a choice to an extent, because of being in
Yeah,
the
no, you didn't, Morgan. You didn't, honey.
being in that abusive situation, just trying to hold my family together, I didn't have that luxury. So it took like a really, really long time for me to be able to get to that place where I was willing to invest in myself.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't even, I wasn't able to do that for quite some time. But you know what I did do, baby? I would do like simple little things, like just like going to McDonald's in the morning, and I would get my coffee and my
I
oatmeal.
remember boxing you for that.
Remember? And then I would drive over to the side by the park, and I would pull over and I'd be voxering you. I'd be like, beep, beep, beep. And then I say, good morning, sunshine, or whatever.
Like you still do.
Or, but just being able to take those moments for myself, or even just taking my super long drives, listening to my music like really, really loud, or so that I can cry, or my long walks, or whatever it may be. Those breaks are what I did to replenish myself.
Yeah.
But little by little, I've been able to do these bigger things,
Yeah.
So finally, like
start small. I think I remember when you were, again, a lot of what was happening was what someone else might consider negative, because I know that part of this time, once you did leave, you were basically in hiding.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, but anyone who listens to us who is in a domestic violence or domestic abuse situation, it doesn't mean that you have to be identified by that. A lot of times it's like, okay, well, I'm a victim or I'm a survivor of domestic violence. That becomes like a title. It becomes like an identity, and it's not. And even if you're in the midst of it, and even if you haven't figured out what your next step is, you still do not have to be identified. I'm sorry. This came over me, and I have to share this because I watched you morph from being identified by it to not being identified by it. I watched you morph from being in the midst of it, not talking about it, and not ever taking those moments. Every moment of your day was for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
From the moment in the morning when you had to, make your husband's breakfast and lay his clothes out to the time you came home, it was all for someone else. And even though you had to run and escape and you were living, very, very tight, Man, every morning when you would Voxer me and you were at McDonald's, I was so happy because I knew that you were getting this, it were building blocks. Then I remember a couple of times when again, this was not a break for yourself, but it was with your family where you would rent a tiny house. I remember that you guys doing that.
Yes.
Those little things, like, I know it wasn't super expensive, but they were like, you were like, I could feel that. You would say, I could feel the energy in my house. And we need to do a podcast about that as well, just about how to gauge the energy in your home so that you know when it's time for everyone to step away. And you were always really good with that. But I think it began with these little building blocks of you knowing to do it for yourself.
And if that's a thing, like I think when we actually got to meet each other, like face to face, I think that's when I started realizing how important it was, because you were pouring into me, so instead of me constantly giving myself to everybody else, like I was finally getting some back. And
like you were getting filled up.
Yeah. I'm like, what is this? I was like, this is new. I want this. But that's the thing. We have to like get used to pouring into other people,
Yeah.
It's hard to do that when your cup's empty.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to do that is really, really a wonderful thing.
And thanks for saying that, because I remember, well, obviously we will not talk about our first meeting because, we did cause quite a scene down in Dallas. But the truth is, I used to spend so much time being all up in the Dominican Republic. I talked about Barbados a lot, and obviously at the end of the year, I'm going way, way far away, but it doesn't have to take thousands of dollars. It doesn't have to be a whole, tax check. It doesn't have to be a paycheck. It doesn't have to be that. I love what you talked about, Morgan, about having that time built in that you had months in advance.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a woman in 2025, especially if you're still raising kids or teenagers, or you have college students, or you're a caretaker for older parents, funds are going to be tight. I mean, we're two, well, not really two income. I say income and a half, right? Family here, and things are tight because we got students in college and planning weddings, and things are happening. But here's the deal: you can give yourself the time that you need by planning in advance. Now, I know, Morgan, that you prepared some information for us, a couple things, but before we do any of that, I want to tell you the first things you have to do is you have to just decide. And that's what you did last August. You have to decide, what kind of break do you want? That's when we start with the grounding in the beginning, like giving yourself some thought, like, what do I want to feel like? Do that grounding again. We'll make sure in the description below that we'll tag exactly where it is, so you can just zoom fast forward to that place so you can get there, so you can get that in your mind. The thing, do you need alone time? Mm-hmm. Do you want a girls trip? Do you want to be laughing and having those soul talks? That's how me and Morgan are. I have to say, when you take a trip with just one or two girlfriends, you can get the solo and the community at the same time. Because Morgan and I know, sometimes she's like, I need a moment. I'm not offended. Like, what you mean you need a moment? You don't want to be with me? No, she needs a moment. Then I'll say, you know what? I'm going to go do some writing. Or when we were together this time last year, you were doing some journal work, and I had lit all the candles in the living room, and I was just out there doing a puzzle. I had my jazz on, and I was like, do you want to do the puzzle with me? Remember?
Yes. Oh, I loved that puzzle.
And you were like, no, I really don't. I mean, so I was like, okay, I'm going to do it by my, I did bring the puzzle just so that we could do that together, but she didn't want to do it. I wasn't offended. It was time that I needed for myself. It was a great evening. I put on my silky pajamas. I turned my jazz on. We didn't even drink that night. We didn't even have wine that night, but I had some tea and my candlelight, and it was just really soulful time. No one was asking me for anything. So think about that. What do you kind of want? And we also had the long walks and the soul talks, and we did all that too. What kind of change of scenery do you want? And once you get that clear, planning becomes a lot easier. It is not just a fantasy. All right, Morgan, go ahead and give us a couple of things you would think that we need.
Okay, so it's like something like simple as, seriously, number one, right? Start a break fund. Even if it's as low as like $10 a week, it's not huge. It's something like we can sprinkle in. You don't have to wait for a perfect financial moment. That's like, if you think about it, that's like less than 2 coffees a week. $10.
These days it may be one. It depends on where you're getting it.
Okay, number 2, create a vision or a Pinterest board for yourself. Start getting those ideas flowing. Dream of your perfect getaway. Is it going to be big? Is it going to be small? Like you mentioned, where is it going to be? Okay. Yeah. Number 3, put it on the calendar now. Yeah. So like we did back then in August, like we already had a date set. We knew when we were going to go, because it gives you something to work for. And I don't care if it's 6 months away or if it's for a longer trip, commit to it. like you would like any other responsibility, like make a commitment. This is what I'm going to do.
It's really important too, because think about, we're going to take this trip in December. You can't just all of a sudden jump up and say, yeah, I'm going to Indonesia. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take some time. And actually we need more time than we have. But just by saying this is our commitment, it allows me to make different decisions as far as our money goes. It allowed different decisions, like, do we want to go out to this restaurant or not? People are asking us to do this. Are we going to do that? Probably not.
Well, and if you say more often, like if you say no more often, like
Look, it's even hard for you to say it. Go ahead.
I know, I can't even get it out for this. What I meant was say no more often. Pause. There we go. Because if you don't honor your own time, you're not going to expect how can you expect anybody else to?
No,
Like,
they won't. They won't.
You know?
Yeah. All right. So I love this list. So you said, make a break fund. So put money aside, start putting money aside. You said, make a vision board. So you can go back and do our grounding, or make a vision board, or Pinterest. If you're into Pinterest, you can do that, or something you can do. If you use Canva, you can do it all electronically. You said, put it on the calendar, no matter how long it is, to make the actual commitment. And you said, say no more often, which is a weird one. But if you know that you have something big coming up, you have to say no. And I also think too, that sometimes you'll have something on your calendar. Everyone else has their own agenda with your time. People are very, very lucrative with your time, right? Very generous with your time. And so sometimes by you saying no, it doesn't mean you're, a bad word. It just means that you're realizing that this is something that I want to do, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You also may need some coordinating needs to happen. You may need community with it. I mean, just do it. I say, Morgan, we just go for it, because sometimes me, myself, and I isn't imperative. Just us, just all of us.
I definitely agree. So, like, how about this? How about we take some time for all of this right now and do some tapping?
I agree. I will tell you something, ladies. If you struggle with something, we're making fun of it a little bit, but if this is something that you struggle with, in honesty, a little bit of tapping will help. The whole goal of tapping is to look deeper and see, like, why are you having resistance to this? Like, so is resistance to this something that came a long time ago? Is it something that was just passed down generationally? Is it in your DNA? It could be. It could be something that you can't see or no one's told you about, but it's still there. So it's time to tap it out, because that's what we do. We're going to get after that resistance right now. All right, Morgan, go for it.
Okay, love bug. We're going to go ahead and start with this tapping transformation. And what we're going to do is we're going to start on the side of our hand. This right here is the karate chop point. And so what we're going to do is we're going to tap on this very gently. You don't have to put a lot of pressure at all, whatever is comfortable for you. And then if you feel comfortable, go ahead and repeat after me. Okay? So, even though I feel like I can't take a break.
Even though I feel like I can't take a break.
I deeply and completely accept myself anyway.
I deeply and completely accept myself anyway.
Even though I feel guilty prioritizing myself.
Even though I feel guilty prioritizing myself.
I honor where I am right now.
I honor where I am right now.
Even though I've been taught to push through.
Even though I've been taught to push through.
I'm open to the idea of something different.
I'm open to the idea of something different.
Okay. Now we're going to start on our eyebrow point. Okay. And then just repeat after me. I don't have time for a break.
I don't have time for a break.
Side of eye. There's always someone who needs more.
There's always someone who needs more.
Under the eye. It feels selfish to spend money just on me.
It feels selfish to spend money just on me.
Under the nose. I've always been the one who holds it all together.
I've always been the one who holds it all together.
Chin. And what happens if I stop?
What happens if I stop?
Collarbone. I don't even know how to rest without guilt.
I don't even know how to rest without guilt.
Underarm. This is uncomfortable.
This is uncomfortable.
Top of head. but it's also honest.
but it's also honest.
And I'm willing to take a look at that.
And I'm willing to take a look at that.
Eyebrow. It's hard to make space for me.
It's hard to make space for me.
Side of eye. I've been last on my list for so long.
I've been last on my list for so long.
Under eye. But I'm tired of being tired.
But I'm tired of being tired.
Under nose. And maybe taking a break is an act of strength, not weakness.
Maybe taking a break is an act of strength, not weakness.
Chin. Maybe the people I love need the rested version of me.
Maybe the people I love the most need the rested version of me.
Collarbone. Maybe I need her too.
Maybe I need her too.
Underarm. The one who breathes.
The one who breathes.
Who dreams.
Who dreams.
Who's present.
Who's present.
Top of head. I'm allowed to be her.
I'm allowed to be her.
Eyebrow. Rest is my right, not a reward.
Rest is my right, not a reward.
Side of eye. I am worthy investing in.
I'm worthy of investing in.
Under the eye. My peace matters.
My peace matters.
Under nose. My joy matters.
My joy matters.
Chin. A break isn't selfish, it's sacred.
A break isn't selfish, it's sacred.
Collarbone. I choose to give myself what I truly need.
I choose to give myself what I truly need.
Underarm. I can pause and the world will not fall apart.
I can pause and the world will not fall apart.
Top of head. I am allowed to take a break and I will come back even better.
I'm allowed to take a break and I will come back even better.
Okay, let's take a deep breath in. And exhale slowly. And repeat again. I'm allowed to take a break simply because I am human.
I'm allowed to take a break simply because I am human.
I'm worthy of my own time, energy, and resources.
I'm worthy of my own time,
energy, and resources.
I am worthy of my own time.
Energy.
I must be having a block with that one. I am worthy of my own time, energy, and resources.
I don't need to do anything more to earn rest.
I don't need to do anything more to earn rest.
I'm already enough.
I'm already enough.
Thank you for joining me with that tapping.
That was beautiful, Morgan. It's always so wonderful. I just want to, just for a second, I know we're running out of time. Y'all, Morgan and I tap constantly, okay? We do it with clients, we do it with each other, we do it with our families. We write these out for you because we know what people need. We know what women in midlife especially need. And yet, even though we are coaches on this, did you see how I was struggling with that one? And it's not like I couldn't hear her. That hurt her. I can memorize, look, I could do a dissertation for you. I could read a dialogue for you. And for some reason, I was struggling with that word, energy, because I lately don't have a lot. And so all the energy I have, I am expending for others. I'm expending on my daughter, Caitlin, her fiance, Anthony, because they're soon to be married. And I'm really expending my energy on them in the best way possible. I love them so much. But even the mental idea of expending energy on myself felt was a block there. So I will work on that one. Whenever you, there's a part of tapping we haven't done here. We haven't done the 9 gamut. We'll talk about that. And we haven't, and we're going to be talking about eye movement in a couple of weeks. I think next week, Morgan, you're going to be talking about that with us. Yes. There's some very interesting things that happen with the human body, not just women, but the human body and the mind that will not allow you to say things, will not allow you to feel things, will not allow you to look at certain things or introspectively if there's a block, if there's a trauma, if there's something you need to get after. And sometimes, even with us as coaches, and I shouldn't say sometimes, all the time, we're constantly working on ourselves in that way. When it comes to taking a break, I do that pretty well. But the last 5 to 6 months have been nonstop roaring, nonstop. And the same thing for you, Morgan. You've been going through a lot of things, a lot of triggers have been coming up, and you're trying to get yourself back with your health and things like that. And so it's been a rough time, and yet we still show up. Right. And so when you still show up, sometimes you have to realize that there is a struggle there. So we will be talking about that a little bit more next week. I'm going to drop a little hint because next week we're going to be talking about mental fog and clarity during midlife. Like which one are you battling with? Because it's no joke. It's not fun at all. And in fact, I want to just make sure that you have a copy of our e-zine because you can sign up now and get it for free. Just go to bit.ly/G2A-spring. We're talking a lot about, of course, it's a magazine for midlife, but it's not just about midlife. It's like making sure you're feeling seen. And sometimes when those little traumas rear their ugly heads, we have to do the work to make sure that we're taking more than just a 5-minute break, that we're taking more than just an afternoon.
Right.
We're actually going after what we need because we deserve it. And sometimes you're waiting to have time and then time runs out. Everyone's been taken care of except for you. We got to make sure you put yourself back on the list.
I completely agree. You know what? Everybody message us, tag us, let us know what break you need and what you're planning on doing for yourself because we want to hear it.
Yes, we do. We do want to hear. Let me throw this link up real quick so you know how to contact us. If you're like, I would like to have my own personal tapping session or join with a couple of other women, make sure you go to bit.ly/tap-chat. Morgan and I would love to hear from you. This has been another episode of Getting to After. I am Chatone Morrison, the Princess of Positivity. I really do believe that you can release negativity so your positive can reign in your brain, in your business, and your big, bold, beautiful life. I want you to go out there and look for the break that you need, plan for it, and make it happen.
Can't wait to see you guys next week. We love you. Take care.
Bye.